Hi guys, welcome back. This is Dream Shipwrecked, and today we are still in the Hatter's realm, trying to track him down. Last episode we met the Dormouse and the March Hare, who is currently being tortured, basically. The entire point of the Hatter's, experiments is to try to mechanize everything. I believe someone said it's because he is obsessed with time. But for some reason that involves just torturing people over and over again, especially these two. The March Hare is very much still, alive and sentient, but the medicine that the Dormouse mentioned in the last episode is like a narcotic, a painkiller that is keeping him docile and not, trying to break off his thing. I don't think he's actually tied down, which means that, the medicine's working. He's very sleepy. This is to reflect the book where the Dormouse kept falling asleep, and I believe they poured some tea on him to wake him up. It also could be representative of Alice herself. I mean, for one, this entire episode could be it, because it's obviously some sort of penitentiary hospital. Look at the padded walls. The automatons are crazy children who are being put into these...
There's mercury and mad from it, among other things. He is obsessed with time. Find him or your own time may be short.
Well, let's run from those. The children are being forced into becoming these automatons, and against their will, obviously.
Those two seem to barely comprehend their situation.
They're blithering idiots. But the Hatter does come at 6 on the dot.
For his tea?
No. To check his cruel experiments. With gears, springs, levers, and mechanical gizzards, he seeks an impossible precision. Like a watchmaker obsessed with infinitesimal fractions of seconds, or a mathematician who tries to square the circle. He'll turn all the inhabitants into his automatons, or kill them in the attempt.
That's simply awful. 6 o'clock, you say?
6 precisely, by that clock.
Perhaps 6 comes early today.
I'm pretty sure that you could wait until those two hands converge on 6, if you wait long enough. That's Griffin, by the way. He was a minor character in the other book, but now he's a pretty important one. We'll find that out more later. So as I was saying, the insane children are being put into these things and forced to, work and hurt against their will. I mean, not that they can really tell what's going on, but, it's not their fault. The rooms are padded, and everyone's being drugged up to the gills to keep them docile and complacent. As well as torturing them, which I'm sure that Alice would argue is a key part of her, so-called treatment. Now, if I remember the book correctly, the Mad Hatter is supposed to be representative of one of the doctors in the ward. He's supposed to be one of the more crazy doctors, the ones that's trying to electroshock her and all those crazy things. Dr. Bumpy is the good one, I believe. I'll have to look it up later. But we'll go through an entire episode of going through that book once I can find it. And I believe, Caterpillar is representative of the good doctor who actually wrote that book. So Alice has a couple characters in her life, a good doctor and a bad doctor. A lot like Franbow, actually. Go figure. She has one who's earnestly trying to help her, and then a few that are just trying to, screw with her. I mean, they don't necessarily know better. I'm sure that they thought that electroshock therapy was helping, but, it's not really helping at all, because she's still nuts. We push all these cubes into the tea, and the door opens. I guess they were sugar platforms. And time to jump through time. There's a cat quote that is, "Time to jump through time, time to jump through time. I'm dizzy," which can sometimes play here, but we didn't find it. That's one thing about the cat. He's kind of unreliable in his quotes. I keep not using him because he'll keep repeating the same thing over again, but we'll see. Maybe we'll find something else in the future. I do like the design of this. I mean, it's a very flat surface, but there's a lot of detail into it, which is nice. About face, behind the looking glass. It's kind of weird. I guess we were behind the looking glass to begin with, because the whole thing is Alice fell into her mirror. So, you know, whatever.
The staff lacks only the Jabberwock's eye, though he has two. I understand he's quite fond of them both. I doubt time will change his mind. Speaking of which, where's the Hatter?
If you look there for a second when we turned our back, that top window there, he was watching us from it, and then instantly teleports in. I didn't really look at it much because it's kind of a bad effect. I think he was just really there for a placeholder, because there's no, like, smoke and mirrors or anything of him teleporting. It just appears. Like most bosses, most of the bosses are actually pretty easy. The only one that really had a gimmick to him was the centipede. And that was mostly just finding the weak spot. Hatter, just like the Red King, you just kite him in a circle, try to avoid the cannonballs and all that the best you can, and, you know, just jack him to death. Again, phrasing. Oh, his head blew up. Notice the sparks because he is now, of course, a robot. So his head sparks instead of bleeds. I'm not really sure why he shrunk and then grew in size, but that's beyond our scope. So let's go for our victory march. Yes, we're gonna... Oh. Okay, I guess. Let's try that again, shall we? Let's make this jump, Alice. You can do it without falling off this time. Thank you, thank you.
This unique watch stops time for a time. Unlike death, time moves on. Those who stood still with time move on also, unless they're dead.
Spooky. Like that clock. And we fell down again. So let's cut to the part where I'm not constantly fucking up. How's that sound?
With gratitude, I offer you my services.
Promise only what you're prepared to deliver. I am destined to battle the Red Queen. The outcome is uncertain.
You won't fight alone. Permit me to serve as your commander. I'll muster the forces whose allegiance your courage and skill have already won.
How shall we prepare for battle?
An assault on the Queen depends on breaching the gates to her kingdom. Only the Jabberwock's eye staff can pry them open. If you open the gates, I'll lead the troops to victory. Let us right the wrongs of this world together.
Yes, apparently the Griffin has ice beam powers. I'm not sure how that really works, but I'm not going to ask too many questions. Burning curiosity. So the Griffin is now our commander of the forces, and it also is apparently voiced by a high school theater kid, because holy shit.
Whatever allies you can, Alice. We'll need them all. I'll return with reinforcements. Take heart.
Alright, we'll find that next time.